It was the end of September, and the walls were closing in. I'd been locked up for weeks now, another ghost in the federal system waiting for the axe to fall. But this wasn't my first rodeo. I knew how the game was played. Only this time the rules had changed, and the table was rigged. Word trickled through the grapevine, slow, steady, like blood dripping from a wound. My co-defendants, 7 of them, had made their moves. Deals were cut, testimonies rehearsed. They'd do what any man would do in a cage. Lie to save their own skin, point the finger, rehearse the script, and walk out with lighter time. I wasn't a boss. I didn't have soldiers or enforcers. There was no muscle behind me to silence them. To the feds, I was easy meat, low-hanging fruit with just enough history to hang myself. They'd line up my old associates like priests at a confession booth, and each one would whisper,
"He knew,"
referring to the illegal activity that was taking place. Lies, of course. If you take this to trial, he said, you'll lose and they'll bury you. 15 years, maybe more. Not because of what you did, but because of what you cost them by fighting. But then came the bait. The hook wrapped in velvet. My lawyer said there was talk, quiet talk, of me bonding out before the holidays. If I played ball. Played ball. That's what they called it when they dangled your freedom like a bone in front of a starving dog? It wasn't justice. It was extortion wrapped in due process. They weren't releasing me because they believed in the system. Since I was the only one prepared to fight my case, ready to take it to the door, they were keeping me locked up until the cage broke me and I begged for a deal. And they were right. I had no choice. With no money for a federal lawyer and no army to back me, I did what most men do when the system grinds them to powder. I folded, signed the plea, took the time, swallowed the guilt that wasn't mine, and wore it like a badge. That would be the price for having the stones to stand up against the government. Justice wasn't blind, she was tired, unfunded, and hell-bent on making an example. Once I accepted the deal, my immigration attorney stepped in, sending the proper documentation, the timeline proving my derivative citizenship claim to my father. And just like that, the detainer vanished. The same government that said I didn't belong suddenly agreed to let me go, as if it all had been a game, as if any of it made sense. My bond was set at $150,000. My mother-in-law, with a heart bigger than her bank account, risked everything, put her home up as collateral. And then, after what felt like a lifetime of waiting, I walked out. I was free, for now. I was reunited with my family, holding them close, but always with the weight of what was still coming. My sentencing was scheduled for December 10th, a few months away, just long enough to pretend I was normal again, just long enough to feel like I was still part of this world. But the time would fly, and that world would change. Change to a world with no sunlight, a dark prison Death Star. There I would learn to appreciate the one thing most everyone takes for granted, our freedom.